everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking on Reviews, talking more comics today from the comics from January 1st, 2020. And today we're going to be talking about Thor #1 from Donny Cates. Very excited for this book. One of the interesting things about when I got into comics again back in about 2016 was what was I going to read? Honestly, I mean, maybe that sounds silly to you guys, but like I didn't know what to pick up, and so I started dabbling in all. I basically was sampling from every bit of the buffet. So slowly but surely, I was whittling things down and figuring out what books I was going to collect. And one of the books I was most surprised that I just always kept in my pull list, and something I've been reading since 2016, is Thor. I've never really was into Thor when I was a kid. I liked the look of the guy, but I wasn't really as into magic and Asgard and the Nine Realms as I am now. And over the last 4 years, I've really begun to love Thor as a character. Now I know that there's some people out there that really hated Jason Aaron's run on Thor, but I just kept reading, mostly because I was kind of new to Thor. I didn't know like good from bad a lot of times. I was very disappointed in War of the Realms, but mostly because it's again Marvel just kind of pumping a whole lot of things. There were so many tie-in books that it was just maddening that even it was the first time since I started rereading and getting in any event books that I stopped collecting certain books from the tie-ins. But through and through, I still kept reading Thor. I really dig him a lot. I was even reading King Thor. I was reading it when it was Jane Foster, near the end of her whole thing. I liked the Unworthy Thor. I liked reading him and that character in other books. And so when I heard that Donny Cates was taking over on Thor after leaving Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm a big fan of his. I really love Redneck. Venom is one of the best books of the last few years. It is just an unbelievable book. And so I have been really, really ready for this book. And I gotta say, this is the Arthur Adams variant. Because I'm just a big AA fan, man. I love Arthur Adams. I gotta say, I dug this book quite a bit, and with Nic Klein drawing, this is a new start. We can all just kind of, we're not gonna say that War of the Realms didn't happen. The big part of the beginning of this book deals with talking about that and what was past and what is happening now. And it doesn't exactly skip over King Thor, but King Thor was kind of the end of the universe. It was kind of the Thanos wins story to me. But we have this very impressive shot of Mjolnir being thrown and getting carried across all the realms of Earth, all the way to all the realms of all the nine realms, and ending up on Earth. To this great shot of the hammer coming through this massive monster's head, and Tony seeing the hammer. This was probably the only part I didn't quite like. Was that, of course, Tony sends the hammer back with "Nice shot, enjoy your retirement," written on Mjolnir. But that is kind of keeping with Tony Stark as a character. But we have him sitting there, kind of his message to this whole beginning part was a message to the Nine Realms of everything that's been going on, and especially with the War of the Realms and all the things that happened to that this is a new day dawning. But now that he's king, he isn't allowed to just be, Thor. He can't just go hang out on Earth with the Avengers anymore, even though he kind of does. And maybe this book is going to change that. Maybe this book is going to take us in a different direction. And boy, howdy does it. Holy moly, does this book take us there. Because this is called The Devourer King, Part 1, The Black Winter. Where, he's kind of feeling the weight of the hammer, the weight of being a god king, and what does that mean? already kind of reminding me of Odin already, and how like it just is this. He's already feeling the weight of what's expected of him. Even to the point where like Loki shows up, and they've been having kind of like a renaissance in their relationship. Loki trying to be more of a good guy in his own way over the last couple of years. I mean, as good as he can be while still manipulating things in his favor. Um, and the art, man, the art in this is just so good. He was on Nic Klein did like stuff like Deadpool. Um, but this is like the lines and just the way that he draws Thor and Loki is just really really good. Um, but he kind of threatens Loki when he says, oh, I see that the hammer is kind of weighing on you. I should have my hammer. Oh, my Mjolnir's over there, and since I'm not Thor, I can't just magically make it come into my hand. Um, but he shows him like that he can hold the hammer in the air, so he can throw it and stop it now from hitting him in the face, which was great. And he's getting ready for this great big speech to tell, introduce, basically his plan for Asgard as king. He's supposed to talk in front of all of Asgard, but he doesn't get that far. He doesn't have to worry about that. I mean, there is a line here saying that Loki is often wrong about a great many things, but this day he is about two. The first is that the new god king of Asgard is of late felt the weight of mighty Mjolnir growing. He does not yet know why, but in time he will, and he will wish he hadn't. And the second is that Thor is indeed rather nervous to give this speech to the gathered masses of the Golden City, but he realizes that he will never speak a word of it, because there's a snowfall, not of his making, as all of a sudden Galactus comes crashing down onto Asgard. Now, Galactus has been making quite the rounds in a lot of books lately. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but he's been all over the place. But in this case, it's different. And Thor just jumps right into the fray and just hits him like, how dare you just come here into my realm and land here like this. Even though, I mean, it's pretty obvious to see that he didn't fall on his own volition. He kind of crashed here. He talks about that Thor, he came to Thor for help. You are the only one who can. The star plague, the great black winter, it is coming. And so, of course, there's always something coming. There's always something coming in every book, right? And in this case, this thing that's there ever since Galactus got here, and the snow and these storms that are happening nonstop all over Asgard are now starting to kill the tree of life, and it's beginning to die. And so he brings in all the living heralds of Galactus. So he's got like Cosmic Ghost Rider there, and even Norrin Rad himself comes in his new form, Silver Surfer Black, which it does not go unnoticed. I love like that he's Silver Surfer Black now. Even Thor notices what has happened to you, and he tells him, "That's a tale for another time." But they all talk about. He starts saying about Galactus's birth and how he came to be what he is now, and how he was a man. His name was Galen of the planet Ta. And there was some unknown cataclysm killed his universe, and he was the sole survivor. He was transformed into, and that's Cosmic Ghost Rider talking. But he says, no, not unknown, the star plague, the blight storm, the rot blizzard, many names but one truth. It is the one true end, the black winter. And of course, there is no stopping it. As Norrin Rad says, the winter comes for realities. Just as Galactus devours worlds, the winter comes for realities. However, Galactus is the only one who has ever survived the winter. So he's survived it and he's beaten it. And Silver Surfer reveals a secret that he's been holding back from Galactus all this time. Because Galactus must feed. He must be the one to face it. And so he's held back these 5 planets that have very special, rare and unique energies that would give Galactus powers beyond imagination. and they've hidden these worlds from him. He's hidden these worlds from him for a long time, until now, because he is the only chance at beating this. And they're all like, oh God, like Galactus with more power, like just this is great. So who's taking him? And Silver Surfer says, well, I will be his herald. But Thor says, you're not going alone. And he starts kind of reliving some of the moments of earlier about, Sif telling him, your days of smiting are over. Loki saying it's getting heavier, and he's just thinking about this as he, goes out to meet Galactus with everybody with him, and he tells Galactus to kneel. Now look at Galactus. He's missing an arm. So that's crazy. Whatever happened to him, he's taken... That's a cost. That's a real cost to see this mighty world devourer without one of his arms. And he's like... he tells Galactus, I assume you know the plan. And he says, I do. That you could shield these things from my mind. That you yet conceal the locations of these planets from me. I am impressed. Well, he says King Thor's ready to help out, and they know you need to feed, so they're going to get these people off these planets that he needs to eat before they do anything else. Uh-oh. I forgot to plug in my computer. I gotta close this first. Sorry, everybody. My dull moment in my channel. I'm always finding some stupid thing wrong. But the interesting thing here is, right, because Silver Surfer says, Master? Question mark. And this is like him saying, I'm the one coming with you, but Thor's going to help. And Galactus says, no. He's like, no? What do you mean? I do not understand. And he says, the frost, the star plague, it is not a being. Each galaxy, I'm going to try to do a voice, or entity that gazes into it perceives it differently, just as I am perceived differently by each of you. The Black Winter, however, when you gaze into it, you see the form of your own true death. I have gazed into it twice now. Once when I was Galen, I watched my universe die before my eyes, and I saw nothing. I had not yet seen the cosmic wonders I know today. So it appeared to me as a great blackness, a void, as I could not fathom such things with the mortal mind. But then I saw it again. Do you know what I saw then, Norrin? What I saw, as the embodiment of my one true death. I saw Thor. And unfortunately, for some reason, my camera, like I said, is acting really weird. I'm going to have to try to fix the exposure or something on here. So he blasts Thor with his power, and Norrin Rad's like, no! And everybody's freaking out. And he says, if you are to be my end, Thunder God, then we will kill the Black Winter together. And then when we are done, I would have you close so that I may have words with thee. Until then, rise, herald of thunder. So the cover here that we see, this is him becoming a herald of Galactus to save the universe with Galactus. And that is crazy nuts bananas. And we have some really good words I highly recommend if you pick this book up. Checking out Donny Cates talking about Thor being magic and how all he's really meant to him. And that he's, how you lose the magic. And he's always gone back to Thor. And hopefully he's worthy of the book. So far, by first issue, yeah, Donny, I think you're handling things pretty well. And I love thinking about Thor being a herald of Galactus. And this is just the beginning, arc that Thor's going to be on with Donny. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how long the run is. I mean, Jason Aaron, I think, was on Thor for a really long time. So, fantastic outing. I can't wait to see what happens next. It's going to be great. I am more reinvigorated into Thor than I already kind of was. I've never given up on Thor as a character or as a book. I've even though a lot of people don't like Jason Aaron, I just kind of stuck through it thick and thin. Kind of like somebody who was sticking around, when you were reading Batman by Tom King and you were just kind of still reading it You were just going to push through to the end, to the bitter end. Well, I don't think that that's what's going to happen here. I think what's happening here is just a new beginning for Thor, and I'm so happy to be reading it, and I'm so happy to be back in the comics to read this new beginning for Thor. So, if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, blah, blah, blah. You can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. If you feel so inclined, you can donate to my channel. I have a Ko-Fi page. It's ko-fi.com/smirkinggunreviews. So, we will be back with more comics. We're going to be talking about Star Wars #1 by Charles Soule next. So, have a great day. Keep reading comics, and we'll see you on the next comic book review. Bye.